response video to the Wise Monkey. Yes. He's not wearing his, whatever it was. What kind of shirt was that? I don't remember. Anyway, so he's not advertising. He's got one of his little shirts with the thingy is on it. I got a couple of those polo shirts, I guess they're called. Anyway, it's a nice stripy one. I don't have a nice stripy one. I used to have a polka dot one, but I've lost it somewhere. Anyway, yeah, somebody's, a couple people posted comments on the Tyson video, right? Let me just explain the context. Somebody posted a link on my Inmendham channel suggesting I go watch the video, that it might be funny to do a response. So I didn't, I went cold and I played the video and I made my response as I watched the interview. It was the most boring interview the man has ever done, that's true. I was hoping he'd get on the subject of extraterrestrial life because I think he's committed a colossal, monstrous abomination against science in what he has said on that subject. And that's what I was looking for, okay? And it didn't happen. So yeah, I had a bit of an attitude going in. I don't like these sissy scientists. I mean, I liked Carl Sagan because he was the first who did it. All right, he was the groundbreaker. So we don't need sissies anymore, okay? Scientists can get a little harder and a little tougher and a little realer, all right? And they don't have to keep dressing, the DNA, in corsets and, fishnet stockings and all this other crap. And I just think he does a hell of a lot of that crap. He talks about science like it's some sort of little fun thing, little whatever it is. And it's about how we use science. It's not about the fact that we're learning the truth of our existence, which is we're basically shit. All right, that's what we're learning. And he's all about, yeah, how do we apply this crap? And apply it how anyway? We're looking at a world, he never talks about this, at least not in any depth. All the unsustainables that are out there, all the brick walls the human race is going to crash right the fuck into. And it's all just a big ego fuck. He's an egomaniacal, guy. I mean, he loves doing this lecture circuit. I think the only reason why he wants us to go to Mars is so he can keep doing the lecture circuit. That's what I honestly think. I don't think he cares about any of this science crap. He just loves being a celebrity. So anyway. So, yeah, so I blocked a couple of people. Fuck you. Even that stupid Russian guy made some comment like I'm sounding like Zeitgeist or something. I mean, I reviewed Zeitgeist, okay? I mean, yeah, the first half is okay, but the conclusions are complete rubbish. And it doesn't matter anyway. That's not a counter-argument. You can't just call me Zeitgeist. I mean, why don't you just use the N-word or something? I mean, this is just such bullshit. You have to actually make a counter-argument to what I propose. I mean, this is just so stupid. I make videos proposing things, and people just make these stupid ad hominem jackass remarks. You're not intelligent. So anyway, which brings us to Wise Monkey, who, yes, doesn't make an argument anywhere in here about anything. He just says, you're not as smart as you think you are, buddy. Anyway, we'll play this shit.
In other words, if something doesn't quite fit in with your particular taste...
Now, see, that's a funny word right there. All right, what the hell does that mean? I mean, right there, you're implying something. My tastes. I mean, I made, so many of my videos are dominated by this idea that we have to ignore the monkey. The monkey has taste. The ape is the taste monster. Okay? My taste is that science should be science. Like when NASA says something like, we have found an extraordinary life form that lives on a different form of DNA. That's what they should actually be talking about. That should actually be the result. When they say there's a fucking microbe in a fucking meteor, well, there's indications of life in space or some kind of bullshit like that. They should have a little bit more evidence than pretty much no evidence. A chemical trace. Yeah, I mean, you can go right on down the list. I mean, science is getting so pseudoscience, it is turning into complete rubbish. That's my taste, that science shouldn't be fucking rubbish.
Ultimately, you have to degrade it.
It's not a matter, I'm not just sitting here saying, oh, I'm going to degrade it. I'm arguing with it. Did you hear about my video? I argued with his points, okay? I argued in defense of reductionist, okay? I mean, he's a reductionist. He is. So why can't he just say I'm a reductionist? That's right. I think it's a good idea to be reductionist. So, yeah, you want to argue with me that he's somehow not? Ugh, whatever. He believes in determinism.
And call it half-wittery, etc. Pick shit.
Well, I didn't do any of that. All right, I argued with what was said in the video. I argued with the whole context of it. Even like I said, he made statements that were just flat out ignorant. Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, not to understand that religion was the first science. It was science. It was just bad science, but it was the first science. I mean, what else are you going to blame thunder on? You know, you have to come up with some explanation. What the fuck is that? I mean, you know, you're going to figure something's angry at you.
Shit-wittery. And that basically Inmendham's just too bright and he's got everything nailed. He knows everything.
Well, you know, okay, so just mocking that's fine. But, you know, shouldn't you make a counter-argument displaying, like, all the times I've been wrong? Like, you could go back to look at some Joneser videos and you'll find out that I implied, you know, kind of, I sort of stated that cooking meat turns it into sugar. And I should have said it kind of decomposes it, which makes it more digestible. So I said it too far. Yeah, so I got caught on that one. So you have some other example where I went too far or I said too much. Or I didn't preface an argument I wasn't sure about with words like draft science. I don't think you're going to do that.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, I want to know why you're not working in the California Institute of Technology.
I didn't apply. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to get into my personal life, but yeah, I've had issues. So yeah, I might have been working at MIT, but yeah, it just didn't. Things just didn't work out. Blah 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 blah. So you should be grateful because, you know, now I'm here on YouTube instead, right? You know, 4 decades later. But whatever. I don't. You know, who knows what my destiny would have been? Who knows? Shit happens, fella. That's the answer. Shit happens.
Advanced studies, etc. Elsewhere. Why aren't you?
I don't know. I think I should get an honorary degree, actually, you know, for some of this stuff I've come up with. I mean, look at the democracy thing, right? You won't find it anywhere else. I mean, I diagnosed the problem with representative democracies. This whole geographic voting district is an abomination. It completely destroys representative government. We just get rid of that, all right, and create a progressive, instant runoff, multi-choice ballot. We can have real representation. And we'll never lose an election for a representative. And the only time we could lose an election is for the executive. And it's brilliant. All right. You tell me who else came up with that. Who else diagnosed the problem as being geographic voting districts? An archaic, stupid habit that we're stuck in that is a complete destruction of democracy because we're not segregated anymore. I mean, 1720, people, 1760 even, people were segregated, okay? This religious nuts were over here, these religious nuts were over there. Everybody was segregated, so they got full representation because they were all segregated. Well, we're not segregated anymore, so this democracy fails. All right, so that's just one example, butthead.
If you're that shithole. I mean, let's be honest here. Now,
yeah, well, how many of these words would you eat if? You know, what if? Yeah, well, never. It's never going to happen, but what if?
I don't know what you're trying to do. I mean, I agree. I agree with a lot of what you have to say. I really do.
Yeah, well, you really can't not agree if you got a brain that says I'm right about a lot of what I say. All right, we'll jump up to 6 minutes here.
Why your philosophical outlook? And it begs the question, if life is so goddamn awful, yeah, so unpleasurable, so worthless, so meaningless.
Yeah, see, this is your paraphrase. So, I mean, and so this is supposed to be what somebody would consider a well thought out, disciplined response, right? So, I mean, and this is your paraphrase. What I've said is life is a high risk. It comes with a huge potential liability. All right. I mean, if I was going to make lions tomorrow, it would come with this liability that 1 in 10, only 1 in 10 of the little cubbers is going to make it to his first year. They're going to die hard and brutal. That's the fact of the life. I'm not making the fact up. It's just a fact of the life. This is the price we pay for this existence. We got billions of animals in little tiny cages going, please help me, pretty much. They can't speak English, but that's what they're saying. This is the reality. All right, and then every one of our lives, well, I'm not going to go through it all here, but this is a silly paraphrase.
Then why spend so much time talking about it?
I mean, this is just so bizarre. So if you find nuclear radiation from Fukushima so unpleasant and nasty, why are you talking about it? Why don't you just ignore it or something? What the fuck are you talking about? All right, I mean, this is going back to, I guess your point is here, I should kill myself, or I shouldn't try to change the future. I've tried to make this point. I guess people just really can't understand it. They're just so completely obsessed with their moment in this sun right this minute that they can't even imagine that there's going to be a future generation, and a future generation, and a future, and a future, and a future, and a future. And that those people are going to be the same as these people. That there's going to be another me, and his name might not be Gary, his name might be, you know, Monkey Head. You know, it might be. He might be wearing a blue polo shirt with horizontal stripes, vertical. Yeah, so what? I mean, the point is if I don't do anything, then he's going to just end up in the same shit I was stuck in, because nobody told my parents to put a cork in it. So I'm going to try to tell his future parents to put a fucking cork in it.
You know? Now, I'm not attempting in any way, I promise you, I am not attempting to degrade you in any way. If I didn't find you...
Yeah, well, whatever. That's bad. Whatever. Yeah, we'll agree to disagree on that one.
Shoot yourself in the foot. Gary, you're a clever guy. There's no doubt. But I've got news for you, pal.
Here we go.
There's people out there a lot smarter than you. And they know.
Yeah, well, whatever. They're not on YouTube, obviously. Yeah, I guess that's the truth, right? Yeah, well, fine. Let them make an argument. Or maybe have them send the argument to somebody else and let them make the argument. I just haven't heard the argument. And I'm certainly giving people plenty of opportunity to provide me with the argument. I mean, I have formatted these debate pages. I mean, they're just right there. I make the statement, counter it with a real argument.
Right. They know they haven't got it worked out. Okay.
Oh, yeah, so it's about credentials, right? So who's these people that they know I haven't got it worked out? They know. I don't think they know who I am. And, but whatever. Whatever. This is not an argument. This is the argument from fame and fortune. Yeah, well, kind of bogus.
I send my kind regards. I'm being serious. I send my kind regards to you. I hope you have a great day. I probably expect some sort of reply. You always do when someone speaks to you. Which is fine. I don't mind that. You can shout, you can scream, you can swear. You can...
Yeah, look, most of my videos are not shouting and screaming and swearing. So again, this is just more... You know, set it up, you know, play the game, and it's just bullshit, but whatever, fine, play the game.
Do what you want. All I ask you to do, though, is include a link to my video, this video.
Oh, another implication, okay? I do that most 90% of the time. So that's another piece of little bogus bullshit.
In the below section, so people can hear what I'm saying to you. And whether or not it's valid. Because...
Well, you didn't say anything. All you did was sit there and critique my personality. You didn't make a counter-argument of any kind except for the counter-argument from authority. there are authorities who say that you shouldn't be critical of because you're not qualified to be critical of these authorities. Well, whatever to that. So I can't say much else to that, can I?
I don't believe there's anything insulting in this video. There's nothing insulting here. I just think sometimes that you are very near terminally myopic with regards to this idea that life basically yields no pleasure whatsoever. I mean, it's
see, again, you said it again. I mean, well, we want to point to the video where I said it yields no pleasure whatsoever. I mean, you're not going to find that. What I'm arguing, I think it's rather a clever argument, is that the red number is the origin. Okay, and the game is basically, when you're born, a piece of you is taken away, you are deprivated, and for the rest of your life you will chase that piece. I didn't say it wasn't fun to catch the pieces. I'm just saying that let's still look at what it is. We're trying to dig our way out of a dungeon. We're digging ourselves out of a hole. All right, the best we can do is just get back to ground zero.
It's silly. Anyway. Have a cool day, man. Kind of one regards to you and yours, Tata.
Oakley doke. Yeah, well. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's, it's a fine, whatever. The little salutation stuff. It's a little tricky, though, when you do that stuff, kind regards you, because what if yours aren't doing too well? I mean, what if they happen to be dying or something? Then, it seems a little inappropriate, I think. But whatever. Okay, so anyway, that was his video. And so what I'm going to do, just in honor of the little snarky commenters and these people who think this DeGrasse Tyson guy is just the bee's knees, I'm going to go watch some more of his videos. Because these two videos, somebody posted on my thing, he talks about the UFOs, and then he talks about we're not alone in the universe. So I'm going to play those videos, and I'll critique his argumentation.
Balcony. We need some balcony questions.
So anyway, I'll do that in pieces.
That's why that fact, saying, will that mean we're not special? Well, I think it's special in another kind of way. Because when you look up at the night sky, it's no longer we're here and that's there. It's that we are part of that. And that association, for me, is actually quite enlightening and ennobling and enriching. In fact, it's almost spiritual. Looking up at the night sky and finding a sense of belonging, given what we've learned about the night sky. And so now we have ourselves. Now, are we alone in the universe? We're made of the most common ingredients there are. And our chemistry is based on carbon.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to play that much. All right, but his first argument is that because we're made out of the simplest elements, which are the most common elements, this idea that going by the periodic table goes by the density of compounds. Of course, we're not, a life form wouldn't live too long made out of radium. Iron. I mean, come on. So this is just stupid. Of course, it has to be reactive chemistry to create a life form. And why wouldn't you build it out of the simplest bricks? They didn't build the pyramids out of, like, onyx, right? Because that would have been, like, stupid. So the fact that we're made out of simple, the simple elements that create probably the most compounds in the universe itself is completely irrelevant to life. Life is a DNA molecule. Life is a whole bunch of complex chemistry, but there would be no reason for it to incorporate into it eccentric heavy metals, other kinds of things that might would probably, likely, produce no functionality. I mean, most chemistry is made out of simple the simpler elements. I mean, they're more chemically reactive. So anyway, so that's just a bogus argument. It doesn't mean anything. The fact that we're made out of the most common elements in the universe is completely irrelevant. It's incidental. It doesn't mean anything. Of course, we're not made out of radium.
Carbon is the most chemically active ingredient in the entire periodic table. If you were to find a chemistry on which to base something really complex called life, you would base it on carbon. Carbon is like the fourth most abundant ingredient in the universe.
Well, you know, this idea of basing, again, this is just, obviously you need more than one piece of chemistry to create complex chemistry. So the idea of basing is just kind of another irrelevancy. I mean, whatever the most is doesn't matter.
Not rare. You can make more molecules out of carbon than you can all other kinds of molecules combined. So if we ask ourselves, are we alone in the universe? It would be, in spite of my diatribe about UFOs, I tell you in the same breath that it would be inexcusably egocentric to suggest that we are alone in the cosmos.
There we go. There we go. So this guy, this guy is you know, you have to know a lot of math to do astrophysics, right? Astrophysicist. And probability's been around a long time, you know, a couple hundred years. They've been studying that kind of stuff. They've been rolling bones and such. So he just completely fails here. We have one outcome of completely unknown. We don't know what the dice look like. We don't know how many dice there are. We can't draw any conclusions about the likelihood of the outcome happening again. There's just no way. We don't know whether there's 500 dice and we rolled, you know, 500 box cards, you know, 500 sixes. I mean, you go ahead and calculate the odds against that. You know, a 500 dice Yahtzee. That's what life could have been. And every bit of evidence we have indicates that life is a rare event. It doesn't happen easy. It hasn't only happened once in all of known material history. Once. We have one sample. And this guy, let's repeat what he said. And so you want to know why I'm pissed off? This is why I'm pissed off. This is a fucking physicist, and he doesn't know basic probability math.
Not rare. You can make more molecules.
We're not rare, he said.
Out of carbon than you can all other kinds of molecules combined.
Again, this is just so irrelevant. I mean, exactly. And exactly how would a diamond function in a life form? I mean, how would... We could go through all the elements. We could go through what their functionality could potentially be. What we know is DNA and what it's made out of. And yeah, it's those 8 elements. Okay, that's what makes a DNA molecule.
So if we ask ourselves, are we alone in the universe? It would be, in spite of my diatribe about UFOs, I tell you in the same breath that it would be inexcusably egocentric to suggest that we are alone in the cosmos.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just so stupid to even, you can't even suggest it. So you can't even compile all this evidence of why it seems very improbable that we're not alone in the universe. And if we aren't alone, the other travelers are too stupid to make any noise, even though they've had a billion or 2 billion year head start on us. So they could have had our civilization 1 billion years ago or 2 billion years ago, and they haven't made any noise. They haven't done anything to light a beacon. The logical thing that you're going to do as soon as you have the technology to do it. And so you're going to tell me in 1 billion years we wouldn't have the technology to create a huge beacon in our solar system that would extend throughout the universe. I say bullshit to that. So this is just irresponsible. So sorry, Wise Monkey, you tell me how this isn't irresponsible. You explain to me how probability math allows you to draw these kind of conclusions from one sample. One sample. We have one sample on a planet where we have 4 billion years of evolution, where we have at least, you know, what we've had in the short term, no evidence of any competing life form ever forming. I mean, people keep making the argument that it could get eaten and all this stuff. Well, that can be mitigated against by the simple argument that if that a competing life form incorporate a little bit of arsenic into its cellular structure, well, then it would be the killer. It would be wiping us out. It could, like our mitochondria, live inside our own cells. A little competing life form could, like a virus, be infecting our own cells. It could live off the environment in our own cells because it's a pretty safe place to live. That's why viruses work. It's a safe place to hide. So, you know, this is just it's irresponsible. This is just an irresponsible statement from a clown. And so there, that's my commentary. Fuck you. And such. I'll finish what he has to say without.
The chemistry is too rich to declare that. The universe too vast. There are more stars.
Says you. I know. Well, again, okay. So instead of 500 dice, make it 10 million dice. So roll 10 million sixes with 10 million dice, and tell me what your odds are. Because you have absolutely no way of knowing how perfectly bizarre the circumstances were that created the first living cell. And you certainly don't know how bizarre the circumstances were that created the first conscious cellular organism.
The universe than grains of sand in all the beaches of the world. There are more stars in the universe than all the sounds and words ever uttered by all humans who have ever lived.
So what? There's only once. You have one winner in a lottery, and you don't have anything else. How do you know what the odds were? They could have been 1,000,000 to 1. They could have been 10 billion to 1. They could have been 100 trillion to 1. They could have been a zillion to 1. They could have been a gazillion to 1. You have no way of knowing, and all the evidence points to the fact that this is rare chemistry. With all our technology, we can't make one. With all of our science, we can't detect evidence of another one.
To say we're alone in the universe. No, we haven't found life outside of Earth yet. We're looking. Haven't looked very far yet. Galaxies this big, we looked about that far.
Yeah, well, the point is we don't have to look. It'll find us.
But we're looking. And how about life on Earth? How is it hard to form? Just because we don't know how to do it in the lab doesn't mean nature had problems. So
it did it once. One time. One molecule. We're all related to one molecule.
Maybe, given that information, that given the right ingredients, which are everywhere, life may be in it.
Yeah, there's even more ingredients now. There's even more ingredients, and there's still volcanic faults at the bottom of the ocean. There's still toxic gas-filled caves. There's still all kinds of places, all kinds of bizarre environments, high-pressure environments, hot water environments, ice environments, all kinds of environments, and yet it doesn't happen again anywhere.
An inevitable consequence of complex chemistry.
Inevitable. So now he's saying it's inevitable. He knows that. Why? Because he wants to believe it. Period. Not because he's a scientist, okay? Just because he's a talk show host. All right, there. Enough said. So anyway, this is why I don't like the guy. There you go. I mean, that's just it's just grotesquely irresponsible science. It's bad science. Yeah, that's the word for it. It's bad science.